How doing, folks? Andy Parati here, 11Alive news investigative reporter, sharing my experience about getting COVID-19. For folks who've been live streaming on YouTube, I apologize. I had to restart this because I initially started this Facebook Live on my personal page, and I wanted to keep it on my work Facebook page. So I started contracting or getting symptoms Tuesday, March 16th, 17th, and I woke up that morning with a really high fever, severe migraines, and body aches all over. And I knew when I woke up that morning that something did not feel right. So I immediately just did what most people would probably do. I went to Google and I started searching online for testing locations. And I found a place in Valdosta, Georgia, about 4 hours away, and they were doing drive-through testing. And so I almost drove 4 hours for the test. That's how confident I felt that something wasn't right and this wasn't like a normal flu. But I decided to call my doctor right at the last minute, and my doctor is actually just an urgent care down the road that I've been going to for years. And I called and I said, do you have COVID-19 tests? And to my surprise, they actually did. So I gave them my symptoms. I told them that I had recently traveled, and they said, come in. So I came in, and within just a few minutes, they tested me for the flu and strep throat. I was hoping that I would test positive for one of them. I did not. So they came in, and the nurse practitioner looked like she was in a hazmat suit. She had a very long cotton swab and was going and essentially put it up my nose so far that it was like tickling my brain, and they then sent that sample off to a lab in Alabama. And then I waited. And that was one of the most difficult parts about the process, is that I knew that I was exhibiting symptoms that a lot of people were saying was COVID-19, but I had to wait for a long time. And so that's what I did. I am here to answer all of your questions, so I'm going to pause just for a moment just to say, if you have questions for me about what I went through, what the recovery phase has been like, I want to be able to answer as many questions as I can. I am no expert by any means, nor am I trying to pretend to be, but to only give you my experience as best as I can, and hopefully you can learn from my experience. My symptoms again were fever, headache, body aches. About the fifth or sixth day, I actually lost my sense of smell, and I didn't even notice it until a friend had asked me, and he sent me an article saying that this was becoming one of the known symptoms out there. And so I started noticing it right away as soon as my friend told me this, and I put a cup of fresh coffee right underneath my nose, and I couldn't taste anything or smell anything, and I started noticing everything tasting really weird. On the fifth day, I got a phone call from the nurse practitioner. She called me on a Saturday evening, just after 7 o'clock, and said that I had tested positive for COVID-19. Rosa, thank you so much for the question. I'm actually feeling much better now. I'm on my fifth day on the mend with little to no symptoms. I have a lingering cough, but I feel great. I finally don't have a fever. So thank you so much for asking. Kristen wants to know, how did your loved ones or your family take it? They were very concerned. I have a sister that's a nurse, and I have another sister that works in healthcare, and they were checking on me all the time. In fact, after the fourth, fifth day of having a 102 fever, they wanted me to go to the hospital just because they said having a fever that length of time was not normal. I decided against it because I had talked to a couple of doctors over the phone, and they essentially said, unless it gets higher, there's really nothing that the hospital can do for you. And thank goodness I did not have any shortness of breath issues. I did not have any breathing issues. I started having a cough around day 7, day 8. That was pretty bad. But of course, I would cough right now after hardly coughing at all today. But I was very, very lucky that I did not have those issues that have put so many people into the hospital. Thank you, Carolyn. I wish you the best. Get well soon. Thank you. Catherine asks, do you know where you were exposed? I don't. I traveled to Colombia in early March. I went to Bogota and Cartagena for vacation. At the time, that country had no known COVID-19 cases. And I remember halfway throughout my vacation, I heard that Georgia got its first COVID-19 case. So I don't believe that I got it traveling. I think I got it through just regular community spreading, to be honest with you. I could have gotten it at the gym at the time. Gyms weren't closed. I could have gotten it just going to the grocery store. I don't know anyone personally that has it that I've been around for the past couple of months. So I wish I knew, but I don't know how I got this, Catherine. I've been so fortunate to have people check on me and bring me groceries. I tried to take this very, very seriously because one of the biggest, the worst part about this is the anxiety of wondering whether you potentially exposed someone else, a colleague, a family, friend. That was really, really difficult to kind of wonder. And so for 14 days after I took the test, I was constantly checking in on people that I had been around. And I let them know the day that I was tested, the very first day that I exhibited really bad symptoms, I let all those people know about the test. And so I was checking in on them, hoping and praying that they wouldn't get sick. And as of right now, thank God, no one that I know that I was near got sick. So I'm very, very, very grateful for that. It has been tough not having any human around you. I haven't had another human in the same room as me for 14 days. And that has been a little anxiety inducing. It's been really nice FaceTiming with family and friends and group FaceTiming. That really helped me get through the social anxiety part of it. But it's the social anxiety and not having someone around you is one of the most difficult parts. I still, the symptoms of course were really, really bad. But not having anyone around you, not being able to touch someone or hug someone, that's a real issue. And I'm so grateful and hopeful that my quarantine will end soon, so I can at least see some friends, a very small group, but hopefully see some friends. Some other questions. So scary, Cinnamon says, so scary prayers. Thank you so much. Let's see. Get well soon. Shoba, drink plenty of hot liquid. I've been drinking lots of liquid, lots of Pedialyte. Wonder why, Lynn asked, wonder why if it's so contagious, no one close to you got it. That's a really good question, and it might just be luck. I don't know. I was actually very surprised, Lynn, that I did not expose anyone. It's also possible that some people's symptoms are so mild that they may not have exhibited symptoms to make them believe it. I know some people that had a fever for a night and then that was it, and we won't know whether they actually contracted it or not because they didn't get a test. So I hope I didn't, but I at least know that the type of experience that I had, none of my friends or colleagues that I was around prior to taking the test have experienced what I experienced, and I'm really, really grateful for that. Kristen Brown asks, how did you pass the time? I watched a lot of Netflix, a lot of just really bad Netflix. I read a book. I started a video diary, just making sure that I documented the experience. I read a lot. I probably consumed way too much content about the virus, but I wanted to stay informed. Mary, thank you so much. Prayers for you. Believe on Jesus. Yes, ma'am. I've had lots of prayers from family and friends. Bob asks, did anyone else raise an eyebrow when hearing that a victim of an overnight shooting in Atlanta got a coronavirus out of the deal? I don't know anything about that shooting, Bob. It sounds horrible. Miss Johnson just asked, did you have chills? Yes, the chills were horrible. It was frustrating because I would feel so cold, but I'd have 102 fever. So yes, chills were definitely a part of my symptoms. Kathy, thank you so much. She says, thanks for your honesty. Glad you're getting better. I really appreciate it. I've been really fortunate to have a company that has been checking in on me almost every single day, asking me how I'm doing, and colleagues and friends and family. I hope that none of you have to experience and go through the symptoms that I went through. If you have any lingering questions that I did not answer, please hit me up on Facebook through a private message. I'm happy to share more of my experience that way. Thank you so much again for all of your kind words, your thoughts and prayers. I'm super thankful to be on the mend, and I hope you guys stay safe, and I hope you guys continue to treat this virus seriously. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Thanks.